Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with the Saw, right here on Superlative Radio. Today we're going to talk about Pennyworth, episode 5 from season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And this is again with the new format, so this is all we're talking about on this show. So if you want to see WandaVision, you got to
go to the other one.
Go to the other episode and click on that and watch that one. And that's the way it's going to be from now on with all of them. So that said, before we get into it, please click like, subscribe. Don't forget to comment. And you can reach all of our other shows through the channels tab. And you'll see all of our other channels with the different shows because they're all on different ones now.
So, and everything's there, including the vlogs and the whole 9 yards. They're all right there for you. So enjoy.
Yeah. Or you can just go right to superlativeradio.com and check everything out in one spot. You don't gotta click around. And but please do subscribe to all the channels, please. And that would really help. Okay, so that said, what did you think of the episode?
I liked it. I was surprised that he decided to get back into it again for another one, but of course he didn't have the money.
Well, he needed the money,
right? But Thomas offered him the money.
I know, and he didn't want to take it.
He didn't want to take it from him, and I thought, well, that's when Thomas offered him the money, I thought, okay, this is where their relationship will start, and I thought, he was going to do this. Yeah. But he didn't. But he decided to go the other route. He wanted to be, self-reliant, I guess, if you want to call it that. But still, it just turned out to be I was surprised. And
I was too. I was surprised that he didn't take it.
Yeah.
But I'm still trying to figure out how they're going to get to the point where Pennyworth is going to be working for Thomas and Martha. Now you can start to see they started to start the relationship of Thomas and Martha. Yeah. Like you said last episode, they were getting together. Yeah. And this one they were a little bit more. And then this episode they introduced Lucius Fox.
That's right, exactly.
Which, as we know from some of the other Batman stuff, he's the one that works for Wayne Enterprise and comes up with a lot of the gadgets and things like that end up helping Batman out. But now it's funny because Lucius Fox isn't somebody who's been in every iteration of Batman stuff, as you.
It's only lately, the last.
Well, he's been in the comics for a long time, but it's just it's really funny. Like when they did the '60s Batman show, there was no Lucius.
No, there wasn't.
It was just Bruce Wayne was behind everything, right?
That's right, exactly. That's true.
1989 Batman movie with Michael Keaton, same thing. It was just him. Yeah. It wasn't. Lucius Fox we don't see until the Nolan trilogy on screen.
But he was there in the comics prior.
And he was in the comics prior to that. But in the Nolan trilogy, he was the one that designed Batman's big tumbler thing that he drove around in and all that stuff. And he knew he was Batman.
Not a lot of people knew that.
No. And in the comics, that's kind of what he is, too. He's the same kind of thing as he was in those movies. So it's just interesting to see that they're introducing this character and making him more a staple of the lore, which I think is kind of cool. I wonder if the new Batman movie that's just called The Batman with Robert Pattinson is going to have him in it, too.
How do you feel about that? Do you think Pattinson's going to do okay?
I don't really know. He refused to bulk up for the movie, but I'm one of those people that I don't feel Batman needs to be a big hulking brute of a guy. Batman has, I know this is going to just get us off topic a little bit from Pennyworth, but Batman has some ninja training and stuff, and ninjas weren't great big bulky dudes.
No, they weren't.
If you look like a Bruce Lee, he's probably one of the baddest, sons of bitches out there, and he's no bigger than a minute. He was only He was only 5'5" or 5'7" or something.
5'6", I believe.
Yeah, he wasn't tall.
No, but he was strong.
But he was all muscle.
Oh yeah, he was strong as hell. Yeah, he was.
So you don't have to be a big brute of a dude to be tough. So I can kind of, if that's the way he wants to play this Batman, and whatever. Maybe from the previews that I've seen, I think he's gonna be okay as Batman. I don't know how he'll pull off Bruce Wayne though. See, but again, I've always said that's the key to Batman. Anybody can be put in the mask because all they got to do is just talk like this and then kick someone's ass. Yeah, anybody can do that.
But it's what's behind it all.
Playing Bruce Wayne, that's the key to Batman. Yeah. It always has been.
That makes the difference. Well, I mean, it's also like Superman, I guess, too. It's the part of playing Clark Kent properly.
Kent,
You know, exactly. It makes the difference, yeah. You're right there. I agree with that.
You know, that's the whole thing with the alter egos when they have them. That's the key, is playing the alter ego. Like, now, the thing is with Spider-Man, though, it's almost the opposite. The key to playing Spider-Man is when people are being Spider-Man, they have to be able to do all those little quips and insults and things that, like when you read a Spider-Man comic, like, he doesn't shut up. He's like Deadpool. He talks the whole time. He's fighting somebody, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's
and
true.
they pay homage to that in Civil War when they're like, hey, I don't know if you know, but there's usually not this much talking in a fight. And he's like, oh, sorry, my bad. I'm just trying to impress Mr. Stark.
Yeah,
right?
Right.
That's Spider-Man. Like, that's why he does that part so well, is because he plays the Spider-Man side of it so well, with all the talking and the yapping. And that's the key to him.
Peter Parker is more of a shy kid, though. That's
exactly,
yeah.
right? So he comes out of his shell in the Spider-Man outfit. So
that's why it's...
And that's why it's kind of a flip on that.
Exactly.
But with the DC heroes, it's definitely like with Batman, it's the Bruce Wayne. With Superman, it's the Clark Kent.
Yeah.
It's always the alter ego because, I mean, it's not hard to be the hero once you're in the suit for them.
No.
Like that's the easy
the key
part.
to it all. Yeah.
You know, so the key is playing the alter ego. So I don't know. So again, maybe with the introduction of Lucius Fox, we're going to see how this is going to all play out, and it's all going to connect. Obviously, Lucius Fox is working for, I'm guessing, the CIA, because he's
infiltrated this place. Yeah, exactly. And he's sending messages to Thomas.
So, you know, but yeah.
Pass me my coffee there, Mark. Yeah, it is. He's definitely, like you can see, he wants to get out now. That was his message. He had to get out as soon as possible.
Because he had found some stuff out.
Yeah, exactly. So he had to get his ass out of there.
So we do get to see. Well. Anyway, I should do this earlier. There we go. Pennyworth.
Took you a while.
I know, eh? Well, we got off topic, but
that's my fault, right?
But anyway,
You didn't bite on that. Wow. Okay. Jeez.
I'll let you have this one. So there's the no, eh? There's the scene where we get to see Mark.
We get to see Mark?
Yeah, we get to see Mark. No, we get to see, of course...
Thank you, Mark.
What's-her-face and the Prime Minister meeting, you know, because Martha leads...
That's right, exactly.
That's
right, yeah.
And they had
a secret meeting.
They had that secret meeting, and then, of course...
And then she got in shit for it after.
And she gets in shit and gets in prison for it after. It's really interesting that they're able to do that, you know, and see all of that.
But Metal Nose is losing his shit. Yeah, I mean, he's turning into a Hitler. He's gone, you know. He's just lost his focus and his whole, you know.
Yeah.
The whole mania has just taken over, so it's time to oust him somehow, because he's just...
Well, I think we're gonna see that maybe happen by the end of the season, because I think I'm gonna guess probably by the end of the season we're gonna see Alfred make it to Gotham. I think that's what's gonna happen. Is by the end of the season he's gonna be in Gotham, and
so then Pennyworth will take over in Gotham.
It'll switch to Gotham. I think that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, I think so. I can't see them playing this route.
Well, I mean, how far can they take it?
You know, how far? Yeah, exactly. How far can they take it before he finally has the money, and then he's
gone. Yeah,
he's over there, right?
And his mother wasn't happy either when finding out what happened with that whole bank thing. But so she won't be coming with him, obviously. But wow, it's interesting.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see where they take it.
Yeah,
and I guess like I was watching it. I don't know how accurate this is, but I was watching it and I was thinking, you know, it's going to sort of turn into Smallville, in the sense that, you know, they're going to build up to Batman, but you're not going to see Batman.
Well,
like they did with, you know, because they built up to Superman, but you never saw him technically till the end. You saw him,
but even still, like if you look at, like as an example, if you look at this show, like what are they going to do? The most they could hope to do is build up to Batman's birth.
Yeah.
I mean, like that would be it. Like Bruce Wayne being born. Like you could. I mean, they could go through Thomas and Martha getting together and getting married and then having a kid, but that would be about as far as it could go. I mean, for him to be Batman, it's not until he's in like his his mid to late 20s before he starts to be Batman, right?
Right.
So,
but I mean, this is it. How far can they take it, and what can they do with it is the question. But
I mean, if they use it to set up a whole. If they use it to set up a whole, like TV universe, kind of like what they've done with Arrow.
Well, didn't they say they're going to they're bringing it back to TV, Batman? Didn't I read that they're talking about bringing the Batman series back?
I haven't heard anything about that.
I thought I read that somewhere.
But, maybe that could be a long-term plan. I mean, I don't know, but...
Okay.
It's iffy. I think one of the biggest flaws that's happened with DC, and it's like I've said before, they can't seem to get this whole everything interconnected. They just can't seem to do it the way that Marvel does. And I don't understand, because it's really not. It shouldn't be that difficult. They do it in the comic books, so it shouldn't be that difficult for them to write like that for TV. Like, obviously...
So then obviously they're doing it on purpose.
Whoever the writers they're getting for TV just aren't getting it, because... I don't know. Like, when you look at Marvel, right, it's easy to tell these stories when you can include other characters that are part of the overall franchise. Like... you can bring in mentions of them. They don't have to appear, but you can bring in mentions of them, and you can, then eventually you can cross them over or bring them in or whatever. But, like, I don't understand why it's so hard for them to get their crap together, so to speak, unlike Marvel. I don't get it, but...
Well, seems to be the
I
case.
Really don't. But this episode, I think it's really just kind of... It struck me kind of as a bit of a filler.
Okay.
Like, it didn't really move the... To me, it didn't really move the story forward any. It was kind of like...
Back to the Future 2?
Yeah. It was kind of like it just sort of filled in some gaps about what's been happening so far.
Okay.
So, like, I would call it a filler episode, honestly. It's like, it just kind of fills in some gaps here and there of what's going on.
Okay.
I didn't really think that it was... I didn't really think
essential to the plot?
Yeah, because I don't think it really moved the story forward any. Because, I mean, we didn't get any real development with Thomas and Martha and their relationship. We didn't really get any development on the overall story of the siege on London. Right? We didn't get any more overall story on Alfred. Like, it just sort of just filled in some gaps here and there a bit, but it didn't really...
Okay. Yeah. It did. I guess... Yeah, okay. I guess I can see where you're coming from. It wasn't like, an action-packed kind of...
Now, this scene right here, where he shoots the buddy in the forest.
Right.
I couldn't figure out why he shot him. Why do you think he shot him?
Because he was getting lippy with him. Remember he was sitting at the table and he was lipping and he nearly started a fight with Alfred.
Is that why?
Yeah, he was just an asshole. He was just the guy was just being a dick. And
wasn't he the guy too that shot the woman? I thought he was the same dude who shot the black chick with the axe when they were escaping the wrestling. I think it was the same guy too.
Could be, yeah. I didn't remember that part if he did. But he was just a lippy asshole, and I think that's what it was. I think he just had enough of it and said, goodbye. You're causing more problems than you're worth, kind of deal.
Yeah, okay, all right.
That's
I was
what I
trying
got
to figure
out
it
of
out myself why he was doing it. So.
That's what I got out of it.
Okay.
There's nothing worse than a lippy asshole.
You would know.
See, you notice I looked at you. Wait, thank you.
Anyway, yeah, no, you're right.
And you're right. I would know because I work with one.
I know. It's no way to talk about Mark. Leave him alone. He's being over there. He's being good. He's not bothering anybody. And you got to call him a lippy ass. Okay. Anyway. No, but yeah, I was trying to figure out why he killed him. And now that you say that, that's probably why. Because I was just trying to figure it out. you know, why he just, you know,
Yeah.
popped him off. But I don't know. What do you think's going to happen? Where do you think?
Well,
where do you think by the end of this season we're going to be another 10 episodes? Where do you think by we're
we
halfway
still have
through?
10 to go?
No,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
halfway through.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
yeah.
there's 5 more left. By the end of the last one, where do you think we're going to be? Do you think it's going to be in Gotham? Do you think that's where he's going to end up? What do you think?
See,
What's your prediction?
well,
Let's see who gets it right.
Well, unfortunately or fortunately, I guess depending how you look at it, I'm in your corner with this one. It's got to go to Gotham because
Right.
you can't drag the London out much further.
Right, either London gets conquered or it takes back
but
over.
he's got the
England.
money for
Yeah, and he's got the
that's
money.
right, exactly.
So,
It's not like he's
and
going
they can't steal the money on him again because then it's just a rehash.
That's
of what
right,
they've already
exactly,
done.
right, and that's the whole thing. So yeah, I guess he's got to go to London or got to go to Gotham because there's no other way around it. Where else? What else can they do?
Okay, all right, cool, all right. Well, that's what I think too.
Yeah.
I think it's going to end up there as well. It's funny, like, even the with the 2 women too, like the crazy one, she kept beating Buddy.
Yep.
But even that story didn't really go anywhere either. In this episode, did you notice that it didn't really go anywhere?
Well, she was trying to get info
The black woman found out a little bit about her past.
Yeah.
About her past and stuff. But again, it didn't go anywhere.
Well, I mean, she didn't run away from her, kind of thing. So I guess that's.
No, I know, but you know what I mean? Like how it didn't really seem to, like everything just sort of was like, here's a little bit of filler for this. Here's a little bit of filler for this. Here's a little bit of
lateral.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, we've gone this direction like this, and now there's all these gaps here. So here's this gap, gets up, this gap, this gap, this gap, right? Like it just sort of fills them all in. So instead of it being a street with some potholes, it's freshly paved.
Right. Okay.
Kind of
So now
thing.
they can move on to.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think.
Maybe
Like,
now
I
they
think
can
like
move on to.
I think like this being the halfway episode, that's what it was. It was like, okay, we're gonna fill in some of the gaps from the first half of the season here, and then that gives us more to move on with, so we don't have all these other things to tie up later on.
Yeah.
I think that's how they did it.
Well, we'll soon find out.
Yeah. So, but I mean,
But I'm still enjoying it. Don't get me wrong.
oh, me too. Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I don't. I'm not saying I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I see it as a filler episode.
Yeah.
Like, as nothing really seemed to progress much. It just sort of here's a gap.
This
here's
was
a gap. Here's
this
a
was
gap, here's a gap.
breadcrumbs.
Yeah. So
Could be a setup for something else.
exactly. Yeah. So, but that's
He speaks.
yes.
Wow. Took him long enough. Eh?
Well, you can repeat what I just said. I don't have a mic.
Mark says it could be setting up for something
else.
else, which I agree with. It could be, yeah. But yeah, like it's I don't know. It's a pretty decent show. It's a very interesting take, as we've said before, on Alfred and
Yeah.
his background, and
That's for sure.
It's kind of giving us a look into an alternate look at who Thomas and Martha Wayne could have been. So I kind of like that. It's not comic book accurate at all, but I like it. Like and I've said this before, things don't have to be comic book accurate to be enjoyable with it. And there's a lot of people out there who are, when they're fans, they're like, "Oh my god, it doesn't follow the comic book, so it's got to be crap. It's got to be this. It's got to
Well,
be the blah,
they
blah."
don't want you to take liberties.
Oops, I dropped my phone. Sorry, everybody.
They don't want you to take liberties with it and kind of change.
And I don't
And I mean-
mind as long as whatever you're doing fits the story that you're doing. So like,
There's a
as
lot
an
of hardcore fans that just
Yeah.
don't want it.
right. So like as an example, when you look at the MCU and what they've done in that, right? So to me, yes, they haven't followed the comics exactly. They've taken a lot of nods from the comics, but what they've done fits in the overall story they're building. So if they do the same with Pennyworth, it doesn't have to follow the comics
Precisely.
to be good. It just has to follow its own story, which was why I had a problem with, what was that show we were talking about? I'm trying to remember what it was we were talking about. And I remember I had said, my problem is it's not following its own.
Oh yeah, you said that.
It's not following its own rules.
What was that you said that about?
I think it was one of the Star Treks. I think. I'm
It
just
was
trying
Discovery.
Something like that. But that's what bugs me is if it's not going to follow its own rules and its own whatever from the beginning, like follow what you set up. Stick to that. It doesn't have to be accurate to anything else as long as it's accurate to itself. Right?
Yeah.
That's my beef with shows is when they do that and then they flip it off in a direction that doesn't follow anything it's done before.
Yeah. You had said that.
Yeah.
I think it was Discovery that did something, and you were kind of pissed off about it. Yeah.
Because to me, that's the key, right? Like if you're going to tell a story, then have it fit in the overall story that you're building. It can be different from the comics, or it can be different from the novels, or it can be different from the cartoon shows, or whatever it's based on.
But keep the basic
But keep
premise.
the premise of what you're doing,
yeah.
as so it's all together, right?
Yeah.
That's what I like, because then at least I can look at it and go, all right, yes, I can take it as an alternate take because it's fitting with its own.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was. I remember. I think what it was we were talking about was the Star Trek reboot movies.
Is that what it was?
I think that's what it was. I was complaining that it doesn't follow its own. It's not following. It wasn't following its own established parameters beforehand. Of
The
what
one
it's
I
set
liked
up.
that you said that you
Something like that. And that was
the Chris
what bugged
Pine
me.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's what it was we were talking about. But it was
Anyway.
that or Star Wars. I can't remember. But
Anyway, it
it's
doesn't
just,
matter.
It's just the fact that it's like if you're gonna if
The
Pennyworth
point is made.
Yeah, if Pennyworth is gonna build this I guess this
Timeline?
This timeline, yeah, is a good word for it. This timeline or this version of whatever, as long as it sticks to what has already been established in the first season and a half of Pennyworth, regardless of what they bring after.
Right.
Great. I can deal with that. I can be like, okay, well, maybe they're going to have Batman be around in, at some point or whatever, or they're going to have this character or whatever, but as long as it fits.
Yeah. As long as the premise is there, you're okay with it.
Yeah.
That's the idea. Yeah, and that's good. Makes sense.
Yeah, because at least then you can look at it and go, okay, all right, it's following its own rules, and they're just setting it up as like an alternate time. Well, all right, that's cool. I can be with that. Like that's why I was like, I could look at even the Star Treks, the rebooted Star Treks, and go, okay, all right, they're their own timeline and whatever, and I can accept that and like them for that, because there are things in them I like, but they have to follow their own parameters that they've set up.
Exactly.
And if they don't, then it's like, well, what the frig are you doing? If you're not even going to obey your own rules, then what's the point?
Then it's just anarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So that's got to be what it is. It has to follow its own established stuff, And I mean, don't get me wrong, Marvel's not perfect with it. They've screwed up a few things along the way.
Hey, nobody's perfect.
But
Nobody's perfect.
They do a pretty good job of following what they've already established. And you have to give them a bit of leeway because, like I said, when we were talking about WandaVision, in the beginning, they didn't know. They didn't know that they were going to go on to what came, right? They were just hoping. So they threw little tidbits here and there thinking, well, maybe someday we'll be able to do something with it.
Exactly. It was a crapshoot for,
at the time.
Yeah.
So now, when you look at the stuff they're doing now, it's far more integrated and connected because they actually can plan, because they know it's going to continue.
That's right.
So if they do the same thing with Pennyworth, then I'll be like, yeah, okay, great. So if they decide to introduce a Batman show later on where Batman is...
It'll follow.
Yeah, and be like, hey, that's cool.
But yep, overall, I enjoyed it. So
Good.
I'm enjoying it overall, and I'm happy with it, and looking forward to another one.
Yeah, me too. So what do you guys out there think of it? Are you guys enjoying it? What's your favorite part of the episode? What do you like about this show? Do you
like it, not like it?
Do you agree with what I said? That as long as it's following its own thing, it's fine, or whatever? Or are you one of those hardcore, no, it's got to stick to the comic books, and I haven't watched it because of that? Let us know. Make a comment below.
Please. Let us know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it because I don't have anything else to talk about with it.
Okay. I'm
it
good.
Was, you're good too?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. We will catch you guys for another episode next week.
Stay healthy.